Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be looking at a cryptic crossword from the Daily Mail website. It's going to be the 20th of May, so let's get into it. One across. One doesn't appear to be educated. So one could be the Roman numeral I. I'm imagining that our definition is probably educated because one doesn't appear feels like it's a difficult definition to make fit, and just one feels really odd. I mean, one could be single. Is there any way for us to make that work? No, I can't see that working. So I don't think one is our definition. So educated is probably our definition, and one doesn't appear to be maybe our wordplay. So one doesn't appear. I'm not seeing it. One down. Vagrants given transport to outskirts of Paris. I like the surface reading of this clue. It feels very reasonable. Gives a good picture of an authority that's transferring vagrants outside the city. So outskirts of Paris feels like it could be the outside letters of Paris, and if that is wordplay, it's likely to be at the end because our definition is likely to be at the beginning. A word for vagrants could be tramps, and we see here that tram could be transport, so that feels very reasonable. I don't think that helps us with one across, so we'll come back to that. For 8 across, novelist gets start of story wrong. I'm thinking that there's a novelist, and inside of that we're going to put the start of story, the first letter of story. So what's a 4-letter novelist that starts with A and has S in one of these 3 spaces? I'm not sure. Let's try and get a crossing letter in a bit. Dull experts backing agency. The word backing here makes me think we're going to take a word for experts and put it behind a word for agency. Experts could be aces or could be pros. I think of a word that means dull. P something something aces. What about pros? No, I'm not seeing it again. At that point, we've lost all of our crossing letter opportunities. So let's try and find something else that has one. Girl found in mainline station. So that could be a word that's... So my 2 first thoughts. One, is there a station that's on a main line? It feels very specific. But then the word, you take the string of letters in mainline station, we do see N-E-S-T-A, Nesta, which I'm fairly happy is a girl's name, so I think that's reasonable. And that makes me think that expert could just be ace. It feels weird for it to be singular, but let's keep that in mind. Start of story could go at the end. And actually, with what we've got here, I'm wondering if that could be a miss. Now, in my mind, a novelist, that sounds like that would be Martin Amis, but I thought he was A-M-E-S. Martin Amis. Oh, it is Amis, I-S, okay. So, there's another Amos as well, isn't there? His father or his son was a writer. So yeah, novelist Amos gets start of story, which gives us wrong, amiss. We've got a crossing letter here now. College meal for fabulous beast. I didn't see that one, but 9 across. A monk with a bishop in a US state. So a monk with a bishop just feels like wordplay to me, and US state feels like it could be the definition. Working on that basis, we've probably got A at the start for a monk. Otherwise it might just be, monk with a bishop. We've got a B in it somewhere, so I wonder then if this could be the US state Alabama. There's a bishop, and the monk could be a Lama, as in the Dalai Lama. So that feels like it works. It gives us a good number of crossing letters to play with again. Difficulties putting horse in ship. Again, the in here feels very positional, especially with putting. So I'm thinking it's a word for horse that goes inside a ship. A 3-letter word for horse with an A in the middle could be a nag. And the ship, a ship could have the name starting SS. So if we have SS around that, that gives us snags, which could mean difficulties. Hot seat abandoned in a hurry. So I'm looking at hot seat and abandoned. Abandoned initially makes me think that we're taking letters out, but a hurry could be haste. We've got all of the letters of haste here with a few extras. So I'm wondering if hot could be H, and if we abandon, could that be an anagram indicator? It feels like we're using the words to get a sense of the words we've got to get a sensible answer. Traps laid for tin god. Tin is an element. It's got the chemical symbol SN, I believe. SN for tin. So if we're putting that in here as part of the wordplay, then it would have to go here. I'm only saying part of the wordplay because it's in the middle here. It could either be, but now if we're putting it at the start, then we're looking for a god maybe to go at the end, and that would give us presumably traps laid. I'm seeing with that we could have snares, and Ares is a Greek god, the Greek god of war, I believe. So that feels sensible. Flowers 1 picks up. Picks up here could be a homophone indicator, but with so few words, I'm not certain on that. If there were more words, there'd be more opportunity for there to be a homophone indicator in it, but if picks up, if you overhear something, what are you hearing? The word one, the word flowers? Where's then our definition? So we looked at 5 down and 9 down here. Bad driver had changed into jumper. Good. I'm not seeing an obvious answer there. There's an H and an A, but I don't see an opportunity for an anagram. Unless like bad, had, and D for driver, but that feels like I'm stretching it, so I'm hoping for a crossing letter will help there. Similarly, 9 down, heavenly spirit in Russian port. Is there a obvious Russian port that starts in A? Is there a heavenly spirit? Angel for heavenly spirit? In Russian? I'm not sure. I'm hoping for some crossing letters to help on that one. At this point we're doing a lot of hoping for crossing letters. 12 across, hopelessly lost again in yearning for the past. Lost again is 9 letters. If something is hopelessly could be an anagram indicator, maybe. Yearning for the past, if that was the definition, I'd expect there to be an ing ending, I think. So what could that give us? I'm not sure. But if we assume that is a G, does that help us on this? Finally full of energy, if nothing else. It doesn't feel like it's going to be. Presumably 2 letters and 5 letters. If this was a G, this would have to be go. Finally full of energy, go. If nothing else, go. I can't see a phrase that would make either of those work as the definition with the G there. A service revolution in part of India. I think we've seen a clue like this recently. But what was it? Part of India is Assam. And A, we're just using the A, service. A church service could be a mass, and we're revolving that. So that feels sensible. Fight in Somerset town. Well, as someone who used to live in Somerset, my initial thought of what Somerset towns have 3 letters and 2 and start with an S. I can't think of any. Fight in Somerset town is going to be a hidden clue, it looks like. So end of Somerset, set, start of town 2, set 2, meaning fight. Small company to employ Liverpudlian. Small could be S, company could be CO. If you employ something, you use it, and Liverpudlian would be a scouse. If in doubt, use short synonyms and letters and see what comes up. Duke seen by family members is intimidating. Okay, Duke can be D. Intimidating, DA something 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 S could be daunts, which would give us aunts. So that makes sense. 2 things needed for tennis or other sport. Or one thing you'd need is net, a net to play tennis. And I think therefore our definition is other sport. And I want to say netball. And the other thing you'd need for tennis is a ball. So that makes sense. American uncle. You can get Sam to start here. Criticizes boats. American uncle could be Sam. If you criticize someone, you could pan them. So criticizes would be pans. A boat in the Far East. A sampan certainly sounds like it could be a boat. Sampan boat. Yes, that works. Okay, so that corner's gone very smoothly. We've got an L for here, but hoping for more crossing letters. Good stroll by river. Getting better. If something's getting better, it improves. That's too many letters. Getting better. Good stroll by river. River could be R. It could be the name of a short river, like the X, the T, the D. Not sure. We'll come back. Hope for a crossing letter. It's the catchphrase of the day. We'll hope for a crossing letter. Heads of network could be N, the head letter of network. Excited as radio star approaches. If something approaches, it nears. Excited as radio. If something's excited, that feels like it could be an anagram indicator. Oh, no. Heads, as in more than one head. Head of network is N, but this is the heads of network. Excited for E, as for A, radio for R, and S for star approaches. That is the right answer, but our wordplay was not going quite the right direction. Locks keeping son in clergyman's house. So, okay, I think I can see this. Clergyman's house. I didn't know this was the word for a clergyman's house, actually, but I knew this was a word for a house. A manse is a type of house. Think the same word root as mansion. Not sure where I've ever heard it as a house, actually. Whenever I read the name Mance Raider in Game of Thrones, I always used to think of a house. I think it's weird that you've used a noun as a name there, but okay, so how does this work? Son can be abbreviated to S in terms of like family trees, son and daughter, S and D. Locks, keeping that, the S is going to be inside a word that means locks, and in this case it's not the verb to lock something, and it's not the noun, a padlock or similar. Locks would be your hair, which could be your mane. So that works. Gives us an M up here. I like the M as a crossing letter more than the E, so we're going to start there. Oh no, we tried that, didn't we? Good stroll. A wander? Good stroll. Good could be G. Word for stroll could be amble. By river, R. Getting better. Gambler. I don't let's look in the dictionary and see if there's a meaning that I'm not thinking of. Gamble can be some sort of walk as well, right? You gamble around, but I think that's G-A-M-B-O-L. Plays game of chance, risky action, chance, act of gambling, risky action, gamble comes from the word game. Yeah, I don't like that. Let's leave it in and look at this crossing letter. Elegant groom. Last in vestry. What if you so this is doing a couple of interesting things. Elegant groom, last in vestry sounds. It does conjure an image. Vestry is where you get married. A groom is someone who will be married. Groom here, I don't think is meaning as in a person, a groom. I think it's the verb to groom. If you groom something, groom a horse, you're gonna comb it. If you groom someone, you're going to dress them. And then last in vestry could be Y, the last letter of vestry, dressy, elegant could be dressy. Which is not helping the case for this not being gambler. Bobby, whose song sang for uncommon people. I hope this isn't a specific Bobby who sang a song about uncommon people. In my mind, I see the phrase uncommon people, and even though it's the wrong word, it's not common people. I think pulp and I think William Shatner. Incidentally, if you've not heard it, that is one of the best songs I think that has ever been released. You listen to it for the first time and it sounds like a joke. It's a grower. Keep on listening. Finally full of energy, if nothing else. If nothing else, at least. Again, this makes that feel very sensible, doesn't it? So you'd use that in the phrase instead of if nothing else, at least we've got this going for us. At least we've still got this going for us. So that works. Finally would be at last, full of energy. We're putting the letter E for energy inside of it. We know E is energy from Einstein's equation, E equals mc squared. So it comes down to this G, but that feels reasonable. Bobby, it's going to be like uncommon people could be the gentry. Like gentry would be the nobility and they would be uncommon people as opposed to not the common people. Is Bobby Gentry a singer? Let's look it up. I've never heard of him. Bobby Gentry, an American. Never heard of her even. Cool. Yeah, I guess Bobby with a Y is more commonly a man, isn't it? Retired American singer-songwriter. Sure. And that does demonstrate one of the good things about a cryptic crossword. You don't need to understand the definition or the wordplay to get it. In this one here, we didn't understand we didn't know the definition. In this one here, actually the same. We don't understand the definition. We might have got the wordplay. Very much relying on these two here to get us back up to those top bits where we had some problems. Hopelessly lost again. Nostalgia. Putting a weird emphasis on that because of the A at the end. Does that work? It is an anagram, yeah, nostalgia. So yeah, hopelessly lost again is our anagram indicator and anagram fodder. Yearning for the past, nostalgia. And the S and the A were very helpful there, especially that A. There's words that long ending in A Yeah, not many of them. Bad driver had jumped into Bad driver had changed into jumper. Good. And it's 4 and 3. So this bit at the end has to be effectively hag, hog, or hug. A bad driver could be a roadhog. That's our definition. So what have we got? Ooh. Roadhog. Bad, so changed into jumper. Good. I mean, the good, I'm guessing, is G at the end. Changed into jumper. Roadhog. Had changed, HAD, anagram, into jumper, ROO, a synonym for kangaroo. So that's how that one works. I think that's the one I'm most proud of getting in the crosswords so far, and not because I got it from the wordplay, but flowers one picks up. The best I've got here is irises, just because of the crossing letters. Is that how you spell irises? One picks up. I is one, Roman numeral, or because it's, I would speak about myself like that. I do this, one does that. And then picks up, rises. Okay, that's fine. Heavenly spirit in Russian port. Oh, isn't there a Russian port called Archangel? And I don't know anything about the port, but there's a Robert Harris book called Archangel. His books often have some sort of historical significance. Is Archangel maybe the one where there's a hoax about the son of Stalin? Spoiler alert about the hoax bit, but that feels reasonable. So dull experts backing. It's not quite ace at the end then, is it? Prosaic. Yes. So if something is dull, it's prosaic. The experts were pros, but they're not at the end, they're at the start. And backing agency, the agency is the CIA, and it's coming back. So that makes sense. College meal for fabulous beast. College with this O and N. Could that be eaten? It doesn't feel like they're in the right place. One doesn't appear. Doesn't is 6 letters. Could appear there be mean to change its appearance? Could it be an anagram? One doesn't appear to be educated. I mean, the fact that this starts with a T makes me think that it's not going to start off with something that means one. One could have a T at the end if this isn't an anagram. Obviously not if it is, because it's at the start. I mean, if I was doing an anagram, what would I go for? To send? Having that D at the end does quite a lot in terms of not having too many vowels in here. Alternatively, S does the same thing. If that doesn't work and the other one doesn't work, I guess you could. No. One doesn't appear. If you're educated, you're learned, you're college meal. Would meals be lunch, supper, breakfast, tea, dinner? For fabulous beast. What would a fabulous beast be? What would go between an O and an N here? Double N maybe? An I? A beast could be an animal. This might be a bit of a thinker. Okay, so I carried on thinking about what this letter here could be. College meal for fabulous beast. And again, I think there's limited options. So I wondered if it could end in oon. And then for some reason, the fact that I had that there made me think this could be unicorn, which would be a fabulous beast. But I couldn't. Then the obvious question is, well, how is that a college meal? Well, uni and college are fairly synonymous. University in England, college in America are basically the same thing. So uni equals corn, uni equals college. Corn is a type of meal, both in the sense that you can eat it, but also in the sense that cornmeal is a foodstuff. Type of flour, corn flour. A meal, a coarse flour. So yeah, that feels good. And then I don't think I was going to get this one without the crossing letters, just because I wasn't reading it correctly. So this one up here, it's not like this is an exception to the normal rule of one part is definition and one part is wordplay. This one here, the whole clue is the clue. It's a cryptic clue. One doesn't appear to be educated. It's not talking about what one looks like. It's about one showing up in order to be educated. And someone who doesn't turn up to school would be a truant. So that is going to be our answer. And I think then, as long as gambler is right, but we've got so many crossing letters on that, I think it has to be. That will be the last letter, and we'll find out if we've got any mistakes. Hey, we got there. And in 38 minutes, albeit slightly shorter for the viewer because we've taken out a couple of, because of the edit. So not too bad. What I think of this puzzle, I thought this was quite a good one. There were a couple of words in there that there's a couple still in there that I don't quite get. I don't get that gambler one, for example. So what was the clue there? Good stroll by river, getting better. So getting better presumably means gambler. Could better be B? No, I don't think that thinking works out either. But yeah, if anyone can see what that one is, then yeah, put it in the comments. But yeah, so we had one or two in there that I think one that I didn't think I get, or one or two that I think we've seen something very similar in the last couple of days, or in the last couple of weeks. So that one was quite gettable. And there were a couple in there that I thought were, flowers one picks up I didn't quite get either. There's a couple in there that were very enjoyable, took a bit of thought, and yeah, I very much enjoyed. So thanks to Michael Curl for doing the 20th of May's, and yeah, thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw, do like and subscribe. Otherwise, till next time.